Kix, joining me is Rapid, and I don't need to come out this week.
That's true. I'm right here, and there's no extra production value required because I come complete with the rest of the STPL overlay. So we got that out of the way. I'm ready for the third and fourth place matches for season 2 of the for round 2 of the STPL.
Yeah. So there is 4 rounds overall. In case you've never seen this before. This is the second round.
I like your style, friend.
13 months in a row, man. That's great. Thanks. Means a lot.
Literally saving StarCraft.
Yeah. Now, apparently, there we go. I gave you the end call button over your picture, just in case anyone on the stream wanted to end the call. But either way, yeah. So we're gonna have a cool series coming up today. 2 of the better teams from round 2. They did really well in round 1 as well. And I suppose there's no better thing to do other than to introduce them.
Yes, Kix, we should talk about the teams playing today.
We should.
Surprisingly, their names are in the title of the stream, but just in case you are either illiterate or have the stream full screened and are tucked in bed, we will tell you all about them.
Yep, so starting us off, we're going to have SouL Gaming versus Red Clan. Now, SouL did very well to get here. They did, of course, lose to White in the semi-finals. Spoilers, obviously this is the 3rd, 4th place match. But they've done very well. They went 5 for 1 overall, and their opponents only doing better than them because they played an extra game is going to be Red. Now Red, also a very, very good team. They did lose out to Net Wars, which is why they find themselves in this match. But this match does lead to different amounts of qualification points towards the grand final.
Qualification points, Kix? What's that?
Okay, so at the end of the 4 rounds of the STPL, the qualification points that are tallied up, the first place winners of a round get 4 points, second place get 3, third place get 2, and fourth place get 1. And at the moment, it's the top 4 teams that qualify from all 4 rounds will make it to the grand final playoffs at the end of the season.
Oh boy, at the end of the season. Well, that just seems to be coming up more and more quickly every day, Kix. We are about ready to finish off season 2, or round 2,
yeah.
And that puts us, of course, 1 round closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, now STPL's been going since March. It's likely going to be going until at least December, so plenty more content to come. And just to talk a little bit about our maps today, starting us off in set 1, we have Return of the King. Set 2, Flight Dreamliner. Set 3 is Troy. Set 4, Triathlon. And set 5, as the ace match, if we do get to it, is going to be on New Sniper Ridge.
That's right. So you might notice the maps be rotated quite consistently, and today's no different. But it is, I believe. Let's see. Okay, no, they do. I'm still trying to get a hang of how the maps rotate. So map number 1 is going to be on Return of the King. But do we know who is playing on that map, Kix?
Yes, we do. It's going to be Scan versus Cryoc, a TBT to start us off between 2 insanely good players. And then we're going to have Richley versus Cadenti, a ZBZ on Flight Dreamliner. Spire versus Ku on Troy, another ZBZ. And the finish goes off for the evening, if we don't make it to the ace match, of course, is going to be Noob versus Last.
I keep forgetting how many just like actually godlike players there are on these 2 teams. SouL, because they do have very strong Korean players. Spire just won Have At You the other day. That guy is an actual god. A Noob, also an I think he's a Hay winner before.
Yeah.
And then of course Ace, the best player on both teams.
Yeah, Ace, the whole team of Air Force Ace are going to be playing against each other in a weird Battlegrounds FFA on New Sniper Ridge at the end, so that should be a lot of fun.
It should be. My biggest worry not is will the games be good. I know the games will be good, but is when I am watching the stream on delay and it comes back to my face those few seconds where I don't realize that you put the camera back on me. And so hopefully that doesn't happen because nobody wants to see that. But people do want to see the stats for our first matchup, Kicks.
They do indeed, and starting us on the left, we're going to have Scan. Now, Scan is currently doing his military service, so he's not allowed to stream, but he is allowed to play in his spare time. I think he's got a civil service job for his military service, but he is 1-0. Currently, he did win his last game, which was actually against White. He played against #1 Flash, if I remember correctly, in an insane TBT on New Sniper Ridge, and he's back again to show his TBT mettle here against Cryoc, who has gone undefeated in round 2, 7-0, 100% win rate, in case you don't know how percentage work, and he's done a crazy job so far.
Oh boy, I actually cannot wait to watch this guy play. So Scan is one of my friends from out here in Korea. He's one of, he's a friend of most of the global community, unless you're trying to win money in foreign StarCraft tournaments. And so here he is again, taking that money away, or at least trying to, from poor, helpless, non-Korean players. Now, of course, I would never call Cryoc poor or helpless, as he has won quite a bit of money, and is one of the strongest members of Red. He has an insane win rate, and specifically, I want to see what he looks like against Scan, who is one of course, the highlights of his team.
Yeah, and this should be an insane match on Return of the King. Now, Return of the King, just to quickly summarize, is a 4-player map. You do have third gases in, like, outside your mains. There is a mineral-only island base, a very small base, but you can take that, and in TBT I'm almost certain that that's going to come and see play. But very good map for dropships, very good map to try and split as well. There is that high ground pod which we saw Famasi take good advantage of a few weeks ago in one of his games. So let's head on over to the game and let's see how these players do as we go into Scan versus Cryoc. It's SouL versus Red, 3rd, 4th place match, round 2. Let's go. And in the top left-hand position, we do have the blue Terran fighting for red. It's going to be Cryoc.
It is indeed, and Cryoc opponent down in the bottom right in the green is SouL's Terran player, Scan.
Yeah, now both these players pretty well known at this point. Cryoc has really come into his own recently. He's been doing better and better every single tournament he enters. He's been doing an insane job in the STPL. And of course, as you mentioned before, Scan, a very well-known player, did spend a little bit of time in America himself. Does live now back in Korea. Did used to stream a hell of a lot. But obviously he is doing his military service, so a little bit less active from him at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he is less active. I would say that I wouldn't say that he is inactive because, of course, he's still. Yeah, he doesn't stream anymore, and his stream was a really good highlight. Scan is, functions, love him or hate him, as kind of a bridge between the foreign and Indian communities, just because he is bilingual, and he's also very good at StarCraft. So he gives a lot of advice, makes a lot of helpful posts. Recently he's been kind of posting about what it's like on the Chinese server that just launched. I know a lot of people are very curious about that because it might seem a little bit strange because in the Western world you don't really hear that much about strong Chinese players. I know like JF was he Chinese back in the day? Either way, there were very many strong Korean players. Korean players that everybody knows and loves, but the Chinese players were strong back in the day, but I don't think got quite the same coverage as the Korean players. There were several Chinese players that moved over and lived in Korean team houses, and so it's been cool to see Scan's impression on that server. And so yeah, all that to bring all that back home, Scan does a lot for the community, and now he is doing a lot for his country as he does his military service. And so it's cool to watch him play, even though we can't watch him stream anymore.
Yeah, no, there is one difference here. We see Scan going for 1 Rax double. He is going to go for a very quick expansion. Meanwhile, Cryoc actually built his gas first. So he is going for the world's quickest factory And you can see that his gas is actually really piled up already. He's at 250 gas before he can even afford his first factory, so...
Yeah, that's for when his Spire pops and he needs to make a lot of Mutas kicks.
Yeah, he's saving up. Wants to get ready. Lair's almost done, so...
Yeah.
Lots of time to go.
When Y2K hits, he'll have plenty of gas for all of his vehicles.
Yeah, I can only assume that this is probably going to be for some kind of two-port Wraith play, very possibly.
Right.
Just because he is pulling a lot of gas, he's not pulled any guys off either. And he's going to show this to Scan. Now, Scan is a very good player, of course. He will know that there could be some tech behind this. Of course, the factory is coming up. Scan will be doing his best to try and keep the SUV alive as long as he can. But it looks like that one Marine should be enough to push it away.
So pushing away the Scout is, the signal for any player, really, to go into what they really wanted to do. Now, with 500 gas, there are only so many things you can really want to do with that, but I agree with you, Kix. The main thing to do is to throw down two starports. He's got one of them on the way, and either we'll see the second one. Where is the second? Okay, so it is only going to be one starport. So this is essentially a 1-1-1, and it's going up against Scan, who is just now throwing down his factory after lifting off his rack, so just going straight into mech.
Yeah, you can see Scan has been doing a really good job actively scouting around the map just to see if he can find any proxies. One difference Scan did make is he delayed his bunker for quite a while. He saw that there was no Vulture on the way straight away, so he didn't need the bunker to start with, so that did allow him to get his second factory up a little bit quicker.
Oh, okay. So this is actually kind of interesting. So we are going to see a two-factory opening from Scan versus what is now. Let's see what's coming out of this starport. Okay, he's already getting the control tower. So this is kind of cool. I love to see. I actually really like mirror matchups. There are times in the meta where there's really only one good build that everybody does. Like for a while, I was watching ZBZs where both players just 9-fold all the time, and I'm like, well, this just looks really exactly the same.
Yeah.
But there's actually quite a bit of variety in TBT. Even though a lot of people like to talk about how boring and slow and hours long it can be, at least the openings are pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, they are, and there's definitely a lot of variety, as you were saying, in TBT. You can see a lot of early tech builds, and of course Scan, if this doesn't do any damage, is going to have a massive advantage. Now, he's not opted to build the second gas right away. He's going into an armory, so he's at least going to have some anti-air, and he should be adding his academy soon as well. So if there was Cloak coming in, which there isn't for Cryoc, it could have been a little bit different, but it looks like he was banking that gas to go in some very quick tanks. Has got siege mode already, and this is going to be a very strong position for Cryoc to take early in the game. Oh, but this is a lot of SUVs.
Yes, in fact it is. That is quite a few. So he is pulling them very aggressively. He will lose a couple, but it absolutely shuts down at least that hard push. Now, unfortunately, just due to the diversity of the 1-1-1, it's going to... Oh, wow, is he going to lose that Wraith? Okay, no, it's not quite that easy. There's a lot to deal with, right? But it seems like Scan is really prepared for everything. The Marines help push away the Vulture, and he's got tanks and Marines on the ground to help, give him that advantage over the tanks. So it's an excellent hold there by Scan.
Yeah, no, it looks like Cryoc may have shown his hand a little bit too early. He was trying to get this bunker up on the high ground, but he did siege his tank very, very quickly, and that let Scan know, to really try and break that position. If it had waited with the siege, maybe he could have got that bunker up and it may have looked slightly different. But we actually see Cryoc going in for a dropship behind this. He's going to use the Wraith to sort of clear the way for that, make sure there's nothing in the way, but still, we have Scan going for a big counterattack behind this.
Yeah, now there's no anti-air, keep in mind.
And he's going for the back base.
Yeah, so this is, we've seen this happen quite a bit in STPL, actually, specifically on this map. The island base, there's no way to reach that by ground, so he's totally safe here. He's got the Wraith also to watch out for anti-air, and so this is actually really sick. Now, the other problem is that, Scan could just push across the map and start to kill him, and if you look at what Scan's doing, he's throwing up 2 starports of his own on the 9 o'clock location.
Yeah, no, this is a very, very strong maneuver you can do when you're banking a little bit of gas. It does, like, can take your opponent off guard. We don't see Cloak coming in or anything like that for Cryoc. Now, of course, Scan is in a little bit of a pickle here. He's going to lose his armory. He's lost, I believe that was 2 depots trying to come up there as well. And he's not mining from his main. He is getting the gas, which is, of course, the main thing here, but that command center is going to be forced to lift.
Eventually, yeah. And the bigger thing is to try to push this dropship away, because that's what's giving these tanks vision, right? Obviously, they have a little bit of vision, but that Goliath can actually hit one of the tanks. Wow, I had no idea that was... Wait, what? Oh my... Was that the Goliath hitting the second tank, or the tank hitting the second tank?
That
wow.
Goliath killed everything, but in the
like,
meantime,
I didn't know Charon boosters upgraded ground attack range too, Kicks.
That's kind of crazy, but we did see Cryoc at least manage to hold on to the push that Scan was doing, so they've kind of evened out for a bit. We see Scan with that supply lead. He has had a bigger amount of production for a longer period of time. We do see Cryoc going in for those, or that academy, but he still doesn't have an armory, and this could really, or sorry, the 2 ports from Scan could really catch him off guard.
Yeah, obviously Scan knows that he has some ports because his race over there killing the barracks, but I don't think that, or obviously, you know, Scan knows that Cryoc has, you know, at least 1 port. He doesn't know if he's committed to more than 1, obviously. It makes a lot of sense to get Cloak after this if you're going for 2. So maybe due to the lack of that, he can kind of surmise, hey, it's only 1 port. And so he knows, hey, if I go 2, then obviously that gives him the advantage, and he can run in, kill all the Wraiths, and especially if he gets Cloak, which it doesn't look like he's doing, he's just going for maximum Wraith count. You run in, you kill all the Wraiths, and he noticed that there's no Goliaths with Cryoc's mech, so he can just run in and actually kill everything.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty bad for Cryoc. Now, Cryoc looks like he wants to go for a counter push, but the trouble is he doesn't have an engineering bay, he doesn't have an armory. He's not going to have anything to shoot down at these ports, and these ports being hidden where they are in the perfect location. We're not going to see Cryoc scan there whatsoever. And it looks like Cryoc's going to go for this big push with these 4 tanks, but I don't think it's going to work. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, this is a little bit cheesy. It's not like it's I think mostly just unorthodox. Obviously, it's very rare that you proxy your starports unless you're going for something. I've seen it happen a few times with like dropships, just so it like really catches your opponent off guard when they show up. But this specifically is... Yeah, Shiny, the other guy that takes a lot of foreign tournament wins. But yeah, so this is the big reveal, right? And so this is when these raids are most potent. So he's going to run in here and start picking up these SCVs that are building things, leave a lot of incomplete buildings, specifically that armory, which is not completed yet. So you know what there's going to be a whole lot less of, Kicks, and that is Goliath.
Yeah, he badly needs anti-air. I mean, luckily for Cryoc, we didn't see Scan go for Cloak. But it's going to be a long time before he can actually finish this. It's so close, but he's going to have to use so many SCVs. And I think this could just be GG. This is going to be really tough to come back from.
I think it is, Kick. 6 Rays will 2-shot SCVs, and that means that they will not be able to finish that armory. He's going to scan just to kill off that 1 Wraith. But he's Cryoc is running his SCVs in 1 by 1 by 1, and even 2 by 2, they're still not going to be enough to complete this armory. It's 29 HP away from completion, and it will not be able to finish.
Wow, the SCVs aren't even able to jump in and even do anything. They're going down immediately now. There's enough Wraiths to one-shot SCVs. This is a horrible way to lose.
14 HP away from completing the armory. And even then, the armory would just die very quickly just because there's 8 Rays hitting it. So, man, Kicks, this reveal from Scan was just absolutely masterful. The strategy, even though it was very, I don't want to say all in, but it was a little bit cheesy. If he had gotten punished for it, that'd be a big setback. But as is, the reveal is perfect, and he's just dealing critical damage to Cryoc.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that Cryoc does have going for him, he did manage to finish the armory. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't build a second armory somewhere else, but he really did want to get that up. He's trying to get an engineering bay up as well, but I mean, Cryoc has taken so much damage. Scan is nearly up 60 supply at this point. And I mean,
and keep in mind, there's still no anti-air, so the Rays will actually just kill everything.
Yeah, now it looks like Cryoc's going to try and hide a base in the bottom left. He did manage to chase away that those starports even. But I mean,
The Star Force are
Cryoc,
actually going to scout the space out.
yeah, this is really, really unfortunate. Oh no, they're not. So they're gonna
Wait,
land
really?
and start producing wraiths again. But here we go. We're gonna see some Goliaths coming out from
Wow.
Cryoc, and this is gonna allow them to push the wraiths back, at least for now.
Yeah, okay, that's 3 Goliaths. Realistically, I mean, this is, what is this, 7, 8 Wraiths? That's still pretty darn scary, especially when you have to keep in mind they're comboed with a very strong ground force here.
Yeah.
Look at how many tanks this is, Kicks. That's like a full control group of 12 tanks.
That is, it's an insane amount of tanks to be trying to deal with. He's gonna try and take down the wraiths, but even if he does that now, how is he gonna afford the tanks to deal with this? And GG! Scan takes down Cryoc in our first game of this evening.
Damn, I did not expect it to look quite like that. Obviously, Scan's fundamentals are very strong, but wow, that one move, the big Wraith reveal off the proxy double ports, it takes a lot to kind of go through in your head, hey, this is the reaction. Because keep in mind, at that moment, Scan was taking a lot of pressure from a double tank drop. He had to know that he could hold that, and he did. So really, really impressive move there by Scan to give his team the first win.
Yep, that's going to head us into our second game, so we'll be back after this. See you guys soon.